grew up in Brooklyn, New York. We actually grew up in the same part of Brooklyn, the Bensonhurst area of New York. Very Italian American, Irish
Cephas.
American community. Um, great to be a kid in the '80s. We rode our bikes. We played football in the streets. We played, stoop ball,
Manhunt.
manhunt. We were, when we were younger, the street lights came in the summertime. Time to go home. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Everybody in the neighborhood looked out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great time in America to grow up, man. I tell you, in the '80s, New York, great. As crazy as the world was, growing up in Brooklyn just felt like small town America.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, and growing up, we lived on, we called blocks in New York City, like, streets. So, we always had rivalries between different
Mm-hmm.
streets. So
Mm-hmm.
you'd play the other block in football and
20th
freaking
Avenue, Avenue
softball, and
S, East,
yeah,
West
yeah,
8th.
yeah, yeah, and you, 18th Avenue. And so it was always like a lot of rivalries, but it was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. It was a lot of fun. So that's
I
like
say this all the Yeah,
growing
I
up.
say this all the time, and I can kind of just jump on what Joe's saying. For me, I feel like our generation, like the '80s babies, and or, late '70s babies, we're the last of that. Had beepers. There was no cell phones. There was
That was
no internet. We were the infancy of the internet. You know what I mean? Like it was like
disposable
I think
cameras,
yeah,
no.
when the last you going to Sweet 16s and having the disposable cameras on the table, you take pictures and you get them and you see the pictures like a week later when you went to your friend's house to see the pictures. Like,
Get in
just
trouble,
we
no videos.
lived in the summertime. We lived in the street. You couldn't pull us off the street. We were in the street all day, whether it was playing baseball or football during the day, going back for dinner at night, then going back out at night and playing, like you were saying, manhunt or maybe even roundup or just hanging out playing basketball under the street lights and stuff like that. And Joe will tell you, where I hung out on this block, 62nd Street, and I grew up on 61st, which is a block up. There was an alleyway behind each house where there was parking. It was one of the only blocks that had like an alleyway. And my mother out of the back window would yell, like you would be able to hear my mother from half a block away yelling, "Oh, it's time to come home. You're running late. The street lights are on. Let's go." When you're much younger.